Hello, boys. Hello, man.
Hello.
Oh, Nick.
You know,
Hello.
you know, this
Bonsoir.
is the time of year
Oui.
when boys become men. Do you guys know that?
I've heard that.
Like a bar mitzvah for college basketball.
Quick story. I
Uh-huh.
was in, I think it was St. Louis in 2014 with the Wiggins and Embiid year when they lost to who was it? New Mexico State in the second round. And the tournament, the press conference the day before the tournament game, it was Wayne Selden and Andrew Wiggins. And one of the reporters asked them about, like, this is the time of year when freshmen become sophomores. What do you guys think about that? And Andrew Wiggins, deadpan, was like, well, I don't know how I would become a sophomore. I'm a freshman. So I don't know what that doesn't make it. How could I possibly become a sophomore, like in the middle of the year? And they
School
left.
year's
And
not done.
And I heard the reporter who was right behind me talking to somebody else, and he was like, that's not a good sign. And I thought to myself, I was like, wow, you're a douchebag. Like, these guys just didn't understand the question. It's not indicative of them not being ready for the moment. Turns out they weren't ready for the moment. Don't know if there's any relation between that, but
I think it was just a bad question.
I think it was a bad question. Corny. But let me compound that with another bad question. Is this the time of year where fifth-year seniors become sixth-year seniors?
Dajuan has suddenly become 42.
Which is like not good.
6 years.
Yeah, he's over the hill.
Becomes 7-year seniors.
Is Dajuan too old for this moment? Is he too experienced for this moment?
This is just a childish game to him now, and he feels silly even playing it at this point. It's like me playing like in a pickup game. I'm like, what am I doing here? I got to get back to my family.
It's like, man, I could have gotten some spreadsheets done, prepared for my cat. Could have done some tax prep.
I got to get to inbox 0 soon.
These children playing their games don't even have responsibilities.
March Madness is a man's game. We know that. We have plenty of data to suggest that. And I will start this conversation here because we're going to get into the matchup versus Arkansas. We're going to get into KU's draw. But most importantly, every time the bracket comes out, we talk about like this team with this talented nucleus and this young like freshman core. I want to start right here. Yeah. Am I missing a team, or is 2015 or 2012 Kentucky the only team laced with like talented freshmen that's ever won a title? Is that it during the one and done era?
That's where you're going with this?
Yeah. Well, we don't need to spend a ton of time on it, but maybe just a nice little icebreaker. Wet the beak a little bit.
Who had good freshmen?
What were the freshmen on the 2022 team that won the championship? Zach Clements?
KJ?
I said talented freshman.
Okay. Zach Clements? KJ? Joe Yesufu was there. He was a junior, but
he was a junior who became a freshman.
This is the time of year when shitty juniors become freshmen.
No, the Kyle Clough. No, this is like the Kentucky team is the only freshman championship team. Like that predominantly, I guess, or 2003 Carmelo. He was one. He was one, but we don't talk about that.
Hey, is Joe Yesufu in the tournament?
No,
but Bobby Pettiford is.
West Virginia got left out.
That's right. So Bobby,
and then they lost their coach.
Bobby Pettiford, High Point, Zuby Ejiofor, St. John's. Are there any old Jayhawk friends that I'm missing that are in the tournament?
Ooh,
Andrew White.
He's still in Syracuse.
No, he's on like another stop now.
Oh, Tyon.
I think he's at Lipscomb.
Tyon. Tyon Grant Foster.
Oh yeah, TGF.
They're
He's
in it
still in
again.
school.
Yep.
Yeah, they're in the they're the 13 in our region, are they not? Playing Maryland.
I knew they were in. I didn't realize he was still playing.
He came back and his numbers got worse.
Did they? Is he having?
I think.
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody talk about him, so that makes sense.
GCU bad.
But tournament bound, so that's all that matters. Okay, guys. Bill Self, Coach Cal, round 1, collision course. Is this like marquee dream first round matchup, or is this the battle of washed frauds?
I love it. It's not washed frauds. It's half fraud, half. Can you do the headline thing?
Goat?
Half
Nick.
fraud, half fallen goat who's gonna get up and throw one more goat punch. Maybe not this year, but maybe with a better roster next year.
Dude, the fact that nobody's written the actual story in a major publication asking if Bill Self has one more goat punch left in him, it's just missed opportunity.
Can you do one of your headlines? I mean, Kevin did great. I
can't. First headline. No. Okay.
Self versus Calipari in Calipari meet. Yeah.
Just MEAT.
Self-control, self-control ? Can basketball legend throw one more goat punch, or is the fraud god on fraud watch versus the Hogs?
That's why you're the best in the biz. And Kevin, I'm sorry, but look at that. That's just like watching Picasso.
You could have given me an hour and I wouldn't have come up with anything like that.
This is Warhol, basically.
This is Warhol.
I did, when I saw the first round matchup, I was like, oh, sick. Because
I think it's good.
The only times I've tuned in for Arkansas this year, they just got whomped. Like, I watched the South Carolina game 3 weeks ago, and I think they had 14 points at halftime. They ended up making it competitive by losing by 20, but that has not at any point this season felt like a team that could do some damage. And at the very least, even though it may have been a long, long time ago, Kansas, like 3 seasons ago, looked like a team that could do some damage. So that counts for something. Round 1, advantage, Self.
I think it's a good matchup for a few reasons for KU. Arkansas is going to have their attention. We'll have KU's attention. They beat them before the year started. These guys will know who the other players are. They'll be familiar. Calipari, like the best Self teams, will have a chip on their shoulder, coming out hair on fire. I don't know that it'll go all that way that I just kind of said. Like, I don't know if they'll have a chip on their shoulder against Arkansas, but they kicked their ass to start the year. I think that's a pretty good way to get their attention. I think that there's probably going to be less pressure on the team compared to, like, oh my God, what if we lose to fucking, Drake or something Drake-esque? Drake would have had their attention too, because it would have been like gotten the fan base all worked up. But it's a fun matchup. It's one they're familiar with. And Arkansas is banged up. Like, they're really banged up. So I like it for a few reasons. And I've heard internally they liked it as well. They were glad. Self is generally going to do better against bigger name.
Yeah, like, who are the other 10 seeds? Utah State, Vandy.
I wouldn't mind playing either of those.
New Mexico.
So
didn't want to play them.
Right, but that's 3 teams without name brand recognition. Even though Arkansas doesn't have recognition, they beat you in the tournament within the past couple of years. They have a Hall of Fame head coach that Self has history with. So, of all the potential 10 seeds you could have gotten, this is the one that is the juiciest matchup, at least in terms of like, oh, watchability. I want to see this game.
This
But
game is
also,
sexy.
if KU had been matched up against Vanderbilt, we would have overlooked the game. We would have been like, okay, they'll get them.
Oh, for sure.
What are the chances against St. John's in round 2? Same thing with Utah State, New Mexico. We would have done that. We would have went through that bit.
New Mexico, first of all, New Mexico new season. A lot of news. New Mexico would have I actually think had some juice, but like, yeah, this is about as good as you could ask for. I think if you're KU. Now, we're basically dealing with 2 manically bipolar teams, both KU and Arkansas, like up and down. Moments of looking great, moments of just being really bad. But Arkansas's floor has been way lower than KU's, believe it or not. And again, they're banged up. So I tend to like it. They play really fast, really, really fast. They're good in transition. Arizona in that way, though they're not in the post presence that Arizona had. So I think basically, if KU can keep it from just being a runner back and forth, or where you have some bad turnovers, start missing layups, like I think they're in really good shape. If they can really go half court, Arkansas will make mistakes and will fall into kind of being a jump shooting team. At that point, if they shoot some jumpers, like, and make them, like, what are you going to do? But it's a pretty good matchup for the Jayhawks, as long as they just don't get cooked running back and forth.
I feel like Arkansas is just a worse version of KU. Like, their strengths, first shot defense are KU's strengths. The only difference is KU's better at them. Like, KU has better contest defense. Like, I don't want to do this bit where I'm like, oh, well, I'm trying to find the thing that Arkansas does better than Kansas. And then
there's some things.
And then have that thing just crush KU for 40 minutes.
It's transition ball. I've got some keys I wrote. I don't know if you want to hear that or not. I'm going to newsletter it. But like, okay, KU's post offense, very good, very high frequency. Arkansas has struggled with post defense. They're not bad, but they're average. That's a big edge for KU. KU's ball screen and pick and roll offense also should be a point of attack. Arkansas has not defended that very well, and it should be the same for Arkansas, though. They can run it as well. We know KU has struggled against it. They'll have time to prep. And I really like, KU getting the few days. And then basically, like, I think Arkansas is prone to making defensive mistakes as long as KU doesn't settle for spot up quick jumpers. If they can move the ball side to side, have some ball screen action, they can and should be able to, like, scheme those guys and pick them apart and get advantages where Arkansas struggled. Again, track meet, you probably got some issues. Yeah, pretty much. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you for your time and thank you for your courage. What is the biggest thing, independent of this Arkansas game? What do you guys think is the biggest? I want to say headline, because the headlines have already been written for the season. Like, we know what the big story is, but what's your biggest question as to how this tournament run is going to play out for KU? Is there a player? Is there a specific aspect of this team that you are more interested in watching play out than others?
Can you say that again?
No, it was too long of a question to repeat.
Kevin, you ask. You answer first. I'm working on something. I'm trying to get some juice.
I don't know. I'm bouncing a couple things around in my head. Obviously,
Do you want me to start? Because I have one.
go.
Is Dajuan gonna not suck?
Okay, that was, yeah.
Because like there's been this back and forth all season, and we've joked about it so much about like, hey, is this guy like, do we need to move on? Are we ready for the post Dajuan Harris era? And I know 98% of the people watching are sitting there like furiously typing yes, 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 yes. But then we joke about the stuff that Fran Fraschilla is always saying during the games when he's saying, hey, well, this guy, when he was playing with NBA players, he sure looked good. This is a national championship winning guard. He's got more experience than every point guard in the country.
Do not mention his name.
And I'm sitting here on the eve of the tournament beginning, and I'm just thinking like, well, this is the time of year you need to show us that like you're that dude that the coaches love, that all the commentators prop up because they're spending an afternoon with the coaches before the game and just repeating the same stuff like, hey, yeah, he was great when you had Ochai and Christian Brown. Well, you don't have those guys. They're not walking through that door. And I'm just wondering how this story of his career is going to end. And if it ends with a whimper, not that it wouldn't be somewhat predictable, it would just be really anticlimactic to be like, oh yeah, kind of the guy we kind of all said he was all season, just didn't really come through. I'm not expecting him to be the best player on the court. I'm not expecting him to go off and like hit 2 or 3 threes, though that would be very welcomed. I'm just kind of expecting to get some juice, just a little something that reminds everybody that like, hey, I'm about that. Like I've showed up in really big moments before, and I'm not going to go out the way that everybody's expecting me to.
Hit the rim if you take a layup. No more layups that bank air. That would be big. No, I mean, I completely agree. I mean, he can prove it does not take a deep run to prove a lot of people wrong. And I just hope they don't feel that pressure or weight on them for that game, for this game. He doesn't need to be great. He just needs to keep it moving, control the ball, control the pace, and play some fucking defense.
Yeah,
Mac.
he can. Hello,
What's
Mac.
up, fellas?
Hi, Jayhawk Talk, live from the tropics.
Mr.
Right.
Florida.
Yeah, something like
Wow.
that. Florida man.
The Paris of the U.S.
Something like that. How are you guys? What are we talking about?
Knicks in France. That's why we made this work.
We're talking Juan.
We're talking about Dajuan's legacy and what we need from Dajuan.
Love that. Not much. I need you to manage the game. I need you to not shoot 2-pointers, shoot open threes, and don't dribble without a plan.
Kevin's answer for everything this year has been don't shoot twos. Whether it's Zeke,
Hunter can shoot
Diggy.
twos.
Diggy.
A Diggy can shoot twos.
No, he can't.
he
AJ
can't.
threes.
No, I
KJ
actually don't think he's allowed to shoot twos.
Yeah, that's fair. I think you're right. KJ can shoot twos. Those are the only people I think that can. I think that's actually like prove me
Flory.
wrong. Flory can shoot twos. None of our
AJ
guards. I don't want a guard shooting a two.
wing.
Zach Clements?
2-point specialist.
Sure as hell ain't a 3-point specialist.
Unless the game's on the line.
Clean it.
A
Store.
reboundable 3.
Mac, how do you feel about the Arkansas game?
I feel great. This is awesome. I love our draw. I told you
more.
this.
It's
I was in
fun.
the
I know.
I was-
Say more.
I was on a brutal travel day, and all I had to think about was KU's draw for 24 hours because I had nothing else to do. And the more I thought about it, the more I loved it. Like Arkansas is perfect as the first round game because we will 100% get like our team has attention to Arkansas. We got crushed by them in the preseason. Again, key preseason exhibition doesn't matter. So, but the good news is I'm so glad we played them because now we've got like this familiarity. Like, oh man, okay, they beat us. This is payback. Like they understand. We're not gonna walk in and not recognize any of the VCU guys. Like I never played AAU ball with that guy. Like who is that white dude? They know these guys. They know they're legit. So like they'll have their attention. First of all. Second of all, like the matchup, they don't shoot and make a lot of threes. Not a great pressure.
Knock on wood. Knock on wood.
defense. Of
Everyone
course,
knock
like
on wood.
of course, like whatever. Like it is what it is. But if you just look at analytics, which I'm not a big analytics guy, but let me put my glasses on. I think it actually is a pretty good setup for us. And then give me Coach Cal versus Self any day. I love that. I mean, I don't care what round it's in. It's great. I'm in. I think it's a good matchup, and I think they'll have our attention. And yeah, I'm in. And then if you have to look ahead, which you can, like whatever, we can. I love the Johnnies as our two. If I
We'll
had
get
to
into
pick
the
one.
Johnnies.
Wait,
We'll get
Mac,
into the Johnnies.
something you said. You said the fact that they played them in the exhibition game does not matter.
No, it doesn't matter because Hunter didn't play.
Well,
did Rylan.
hold on. Does it matter? I thought he scored a bunch of points, and I just double checked. Dajuan scored
Dajuan.
26 points against
26.
them.
Yeah. And you know who our second leading scorer was?
I just looked at the box score, so I do know.
Don't tell them. Who was our second leading scorer?
You will not get it.
Okay. Was it Shaq Moore?
Nope. He wasn't a thing yet.
Keys.
It was Keese.
Keith
Yeah, he was
said,
great.
Okay. The fact that
Keys,
Juan
Keys,
went for
Keys.
26 and Rakis was the second leading scorer, I think that hammers Mech's point home. That game
Thank you.
did not matter.
What if
at
It did
all.
not matter.
Oh, Arkansas was like running offense too. KU wasn't. I actually hope like they're like, fuck this. Dajuan cooked us. We gotta focus on Dajuan.
they
We
double
gotta
him.
really focus on Juan.
No, they got a huge Rakis Passmore game plan just in case. Like they got it all planned out.
Well, I will say the whole aspect of like, I know I may be
Jeez.
contradicting myself from earlier, but the aspect of because it's Arkansas and Coach Cal, they will have KU's attention. That doesn't really move the needle for me. Attention hasn't really been this team's problem. It's been like, are you actually good enough even when you do try? Like, are you guys actually tough enough to overcome a little adversity and like battle back? Like, that's what I'm concerned with. I'm not worried about them not being focused coming into the tournament. I'm worried about like, are you guys ready? Like mentally?
They need to play hair on fire. But there's two things. Like one, they got to come out like they have in a few games this year where they are fucking winning every loose ball and crashing the glass. Like they win those games. Basically all of them except like the
Utah. The Utah.
Well, Utah was like ugly as hell, but they weren't crashing necessarily like owning the glass hair on fire. And then the other is they cannot fold when they get punched because Jared says basketball has been the team's biggest hurdle. They have folded in a lot of challenging moments this year. They did not necessarily in the Big 12 tourney. They really were a little better at the end of the year there. But that's the thing, because the pressure can compound and cause a fold. Or if you withstand whatever punch gets thrown, it'll do the same thing to the other team and they can fold. So like it's that mentality of shit's gonna get whack, and we can't be like, oh no, here it goes again. That's my concern from a mentality standpoint.
When you put it that way, I'm concerned now. I felt pretty comfortable, but
yeah,
I'm uncomfortable now.
That checks out.
I just don't. I've never not had my finger on the pulse of a team as poorly as I do this year. I have no fucking clue which way this is going to go. It's like Will AJ Storr lead us to the Elite Eight, or will he ensure that they don't get out of the first weekend of the tournament? They're both on the board. They're both on the table heading into this game one. And I could kind of do a different variation of that for 3 or 4 other players on the team.
I'll say I've heard that. Curious what your reaction to this is. I think for the last
this
month,
ought to be good.
Last month and a half, right? Once they fell behind in the Big 12 race, they were just kind of saying to themselves 6 games in March. They've been talking about it for a long, long time. They have been and have almost played like a team that was ready to go play some postseason basketball. And it's a dangerous game to play. That is a dangerous fucking game.
Are you saying that this is a team full of Remy's that are saying, just wait for March? All of us, they all have their arms around each other in the locker room. 9 guys, because
No.
Just wait for March, 1, coach.
2, 3.
And Bill's
March.
Bill's going, hey, could we channel a little bit of that energy into the regular season? And they're all just like, no.
Remy was saying fuck you, Bill, wait till March. I'm crazy confident. These guys were like, what's happening now matters a whole lot less than 6 games in March. And I think that they've been pretty locked in this week.
So good.
I don't know if I want a team full of Remy's. One Remy, great. 15 of them seems like a bit much.
This could be incredible. Everyone's saving their best. Pure nuclear. Put the UConn win margin to shame. Crush everybody.
Preseason number 1.
San Antonio.
15 Remy's.
15
Bill this offseason, when he said we're going for throats, he actually said we're just going for Remy's.
Or Remy's.
He did say, I've got 2 thoughts. I'm doing it again. Preseason, he said conference is going to be tougher. We're not going to win as many games as we're used to. We kind of have to rethink how we approach big conference play. He said that. That's glass half full. The second is the 6 games in March is a little bit of self-soothing because shit was hitting the fan.
You think?
They're like, it's okay. It's okay. We got March. Just please March. Whereas Remy is watch this. That was my read. 15 Remy's.
Preseason number 1, postseason number 1.
Love that.
Round trip headline. Round trip this bitch.
Yes.
I mean, could happen. All right. Do we want to talk about St. John's, or do we want to talk about the Casey?
Before we get ahead of ourselves here,
you drive.
I don't want to put the cart ahead of the mules here. You know what I'm saying? What? Yeah. Well, somebody said I'm not loading the wagon. The mules have been dead for months. New mules. We got new mules.
Mascot
confidence level. Can we just put a percentage on it? Confidence level that KU is winning versus Arkansas.
Are we going 1 through 10 or out of a percentage here?
Percentage.
77.
Oh,
point one.
That's high.
That's pretty high.
That's high. That's high.
I'm confident. I think I'm less than that.
I added a few, but I like that number. Sadly,
I like that number, says the man who pulled the number out. I'm gonna go 57.
Pussy.
Yeah, you don't change that number. I don't like that number.
Yeah, change the number. New number.
New season.
61. 61.
Oh, good number.
It's better.
Good number.
Better number. Mac?
65. That was the number I thought of before TN spoke.
I forgot your name was TN for a minute, and I was like, which TN said what?
Yeah, Connor, the media was at his office.
I get it. I'm taking 70.9. I feel pretty good. I think this is a game KU should win. It's got the pieces. I think it's a decent matchup.
Like, KU wins this game 2 out of 3 times, right? Like that's where I landed.
But that's just it. It's like
0.6 repeating.
in the evaluation of not just this game, but every game that could potentially come after it. When you say things like KU should win this game, are you basing that idea off of like how good you believe Kansas can be?
No.
Or are you basing it off
No.
of the 30 plus games that we've seen from them this year?
Matchup. Not numbies.
I think it's all of it. Plus the boys of March. Like it's just all of it playing a part.
All the Remy's.
All the Remy's. Bill versus Cal.
Yes.
Arkansas revenge game. Bill revenge game in a weird way because he could not function during the last matchup between these two in the tournament.
There was a good comment earlier about letting Norm
Forgot about that.
to get revenge.
Well, dude, it's not just
These guys were there.
Guys, this isn't just the Norm Roberts revenge game. This is the Norm Roberts revenge pod. If you get him exacting revenge on Arkansas for bouncing him from the tournament, and then you get revenge against St. John's for bouncing him out of the program.
Oh my God.
Do it for Norm.
Love this. Do it for
Hashtag,
Norm.
hashtag do it for Norm. We went from hashtag fire Norm to hashtag do it for Norm in 2 months' time. But we're here, boys.
We have
That's
no choice.
what we do. We show it all. And that is genius, brilliant. I'm going to tweet right now, hashtag do it for Norm. No one will get worried if I say that, right?
No, imagine, bro, the montage after the game, and they just go slow-mo, panning in on Norm on the sideline as they're announcing the starting lineups for the St. John's game. Just tears streaming down his face. KT has got his arm around him. He's like patting him on the back. All the players are coming over, like tapping him. He's like, we got you, Norm. And they go out there and they just run St. John's out of the gym.
He's so emotional. He can't even stand. He's collapsing. And the players are just holding his body up. Smelling salt under the nose.
He's puking into a towel the whole game.
He's puking like Tracy Morgan at the Knicks game. But they scrape it together for Norm. For Norm.
Do it for Norm.
They bring him out in a wheelchair. He can't even walk onto the court. They're just wheeling him out there.
This is insane. It's incredible.
I love every part of it, except for the part where you said we should let Norm coach. Every part of it I'm in.
Norm's the head coach. Bill takes the second spot. I need Norm out there. I
was there for that game in Des Moines, sitting
so was I.
Press row, and it was one of the most brutal games I've ever seen. Musk jumping up on that table, like right next to me.
Shirtless, bare-chested, beating his chest.
I've never hated another coach more. Yeah.
Where's he now? What, is
Musk?
he preparing for a
USC.
tournament run? Is he preparing
USC.
for a tournament run at USC, or are they not?
They got some juice. No, they're not an attorney, but they got some.
They got some juice.
They got some recording juice. Keep your eyes on the bus. Okay.
Hey, post that last comment there, please, Mike.
Is it this one?
Yeah. He gets to rip his shirt off and beat his chest. Stand on the scores table like they just won the fucking national championship.
Can someone Photoshop Norm's face on Muscleman?
That's Norm 14 years ago.
I know. I found an old ass picture. I mean, I can do it, but I'll be pretty locked in to doing that. Let me do it. I'm doing it.
Let me do it.
We need Norm on Musk. And he should do it.
Are you more afraid of like a defense from Calvin Sampson or a defense? I mean, go down the list of decent defenses in our league. Like, are we afraid of St. John's defense? Like, I'm not. We've played nobody that scares me more than teams we've already played.
No,
Kim Pom
because
number
St.
one.
John's, but and Kim Pom has been guilty of this in the past with teams like the best
Fraud watch.
example. The best example is Gonzaga, where he has overvalued teams who play weak schedules. And I know what all the data says. It's like, yes, but you can still prove something. If you beat a really bad team by a lot, that still means something. Margin of victory still means something. That's fine. And Gonzaga's been a great program. But year after year, he was putting them number one overall when every other metric didn't have them that in terms of like what the seedings and et cetera. And for the most part, with the exception of 1 year when they lost to Baylor in the national championship game, they weren't that team. And part of me looks at St. John's and is like, cool season. Great season running through the Big East and beating up on Seton Hall and Providence. But like, now you're playing real teams.
Now you're playing the preseason number one team.
Fucking preseason number one.
New Hawks.
Like, who's their best? What is St. John's best win this year? Marquette? Like, they beat Connecticut, they beat a 7 seed, they beat an 8 seed, a 9 seed. Like, cool. You might be good. You also might not. You might be frauds. St. John's fraud watch.
100%.
Definitely. Look, they're talented. They look pretty good. But if you're Kansas, you do not want an athletic running team that shoots threes. This is a running team. They do run, but they're not going to blow you off the court athletically, and they want to make it ugly. And that's like pretty much KU's best shot to knock off a good team. So they ain't played nobody, Paul.
Would you rather play St. John's or Michigan State? Because this was one of the big questions. We already beat Michigan State. Because everyone kept saying Michigan State. I'm right there. I agree, St. John's. Like, that's why I love our. And then again, it's not to look ahead, but we can look ahead. It's a bracket thing. We're just looking at a bracket. Like, just bear with me for a second.
We're flying past St. John's.
You can't pass St. John's. Like,
no.
What's to say this team can't be Elite Eight? What's to say this team can't be elite? Final Four is going to be tough, guys. But like,
well,
there's a path to the Elite Eight that is not that scary to me. All in for the seeding that we have, and for what we deserved.
I agree.
I like it. That's really, it's all in context, right? Because like we couldn't expect a great path. We couldn't expect an easy whatever cakewalk teams. You got to play good teams, but for what we deserved. I like it. Now that we may lose in the first round, but they did not. It's not because we got some terrible draw.
No, I mean, avoiding Tennessee as your 2 seed is kind of big.
Alabama, I didn't want to play.
Alabama would have been disgusting.
Yeah, Alabama would have sucked. But I think to answer your initial question is like, what's to stop this team from X? Because it's the same answer across the board. Is the fact that they've never done it all year, the fact that they've never strung together like 2 good weeks of basketball.
2 games, dude. That's my concern.
Yeah.
We are asking them to do something we didn't see them do.
So it requires a baseline level of belief in this idea that what Mike said, that this team has been just ready for the postseason for months. And if you're not willing to believe that, if you hear Mike reporting that and you say like, I don't care, you're not good enough, or it's not going to happen, then yeah, they might lose in the first game.
Oh, sure. Like that is on the table. This is what 7-10. But my concern is the same as yours. They haven't done it for 2 games. However, it doesn't take that 2-game tournament, right? You beat Calipari, and you got to think the chip on the shoulder will be there for St. John's. Now,
God, needing
That's-
to beat Calipari and Patino to get to the second weekend though is kind of like an insane thing to think about.
It's wild. It's pretty
It's
fun.
awesome. It's awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah. This is what we do. This is March. But like the fear, same with St. John's that I have for Arkansas is just like what happens when they get punched. In St. John's punch is gonna hurt more than Arkansas's punch. But like the pressure will go right onto St. John's if KU can come out playing strong. They're going to be in front of a home crowd. I think that's the worst part of KU's draw, is going after Patino in Providence. And so like come out hot, play hair on fire, win the glass. Like St. John's beats dudes up on the glass. It's possible.
but like
Then there's
you
Zuby.
know, the hustle stuff, the effort stuff, which St. John's excels at. It's like, yeah, it's easy to excel at that when you're playing bad teams. It's easy to look like you guys, because that's the whole thing with KU versus St. John's. If they get to that game, it's like, let's do an experiment of what happens when you face a team with talent and zero chemistry versus a team with insane chemistry and not great talent. Let's see what wins out in March. And generally speaking, talent will win. Like if you're just blindly filling out your bracket, go.
St. John's is better than you're giving credit.
Are they? Because they're the only team ranked ahead of Kansas with a worse offense.
Zuby.
So it's like, okay, so you're good at defense because you guys try really hard, which again, admirable, great. It's got you to where you are, not taking anything away from you, but you played in the Big East. You didn't get the number one defense in the country playing in the SEC this year.
And they didn't have a good offense in the Big East. I mean, I'm worried about us going
bad
5.
Offense. This is a bad. St. John's is bad on offense.
I'm worried about us going 5 minutes without scoring, but
that's
they can suck it up too. They can suck it up too on offense.
That's our sweet spot. We can. You want to go scoreless? We can fucking go scoreless for 40 minutes with anyone. All right. And then you got to look down the bench. You think you got the baddest man in the country, and you look the other side, and it's, oh my God.
Mike has already acquired a photo of Norm Roberts' face.
I made it. I just made it.
Photoshopped onto Eric Musselman's shirt.
He acquired it from himself. Little blending would have been good, but that's pretty strong.
Not going to do that. Not a blender.
Do you think Norm's got it like that? Do you think Norm's just stacked?
You want to take right now? I bet you he looks better with his shirt off than Musselman right now.
Has anyone in the comments ever seen Norm shirtless? Please let us know.
Norm works out. Don't check that. I feel
Norm just blindly stating Norm works out.
So I do think the Zuby angle is interesting because he left entirely because KU recruited and got Hunter Dickinson. I think they felt disrespected and or misled by the staff. They thought year 2 is going to be their year. In at the same time, it's kind of ridiculous and not realistic. Did someone just say a comment that was good?
Keep talking. You're doing great.
Okay. Got it. Someone did not comment about Norm being shirtless, but they did about him being pantsless. It's a revenge game for Zuby. And I also think it's a chip game for Hunter too, because he is well aware of that's going to be the conversation. So they're going to be two big boys banging on each other.
But I would hope for guys like Hunter, the Zuby matchup should be like 14th on the list of things he's motivated for. And that goes the same for Dajuan. It goes the same for KJ.
Sure.
It's like, this is your last chance to prove that you're worth a shit. You know, like, you were preseason number 1. You guys have failed all season long. This is it. This is the way you rewrite history, by doing something special. And frankly, to a different tune, same for guys like AJ and Rylan, where it's like, you may not be at Kansas next year, but the tape you put out there for this year, like, isn't exactly doing you many favors for what's going to be lying ahead for you this offseason. Your time as a basketball player that people care to watch is very limited. Is very limited. You do not have that much time left before you're playing on the Beijing Water Tigers or whatever they're called. But like, that's your future. That's your future. You want to change it? Got a golden opportunity for you. It's called March Madness, and people actually care about you now.
It is. It's the revenge of the old heads and Norm. Absolutely. That's the narrative. Hunter will be aware of it. They'll all be aware of it. But all right, so here's the question. If they make the second Sweet 16, you beat a 2 seed, is all forgiven? Or like, we can all go to sleep. We can all be like, that worked. That's okay. Like, what is your thought about this team if they pull off a big upset?
Before the bracket came out, I think before we started to dream about the Hall of Fame pod, we all would have taken, everybody would have taken a Sweet 16 appearance, I would think, as a 7 seed. I don't know if all's forgiven, but you would say, I mean, I don't think anybody would feel anywhere near as negative about this season if they won 2 games.
But your goals tend to change as you approach them. And if they get to the second weekend and you've got Texas Tech, or heaven forbid, Mizzou waiting for you.
Oh my God.
You're changing it now.
You can't lose
if it's Mizzou, that's the thing. Texas Tech would suck because you just played them a month ago and you played them tight. And I feel like there's going to be the expectation that, like, we can beat these dudes, which I would feel the same way. Like, as a fan,
Totally.
If they faced up against Texas Tech, I'd say, yeah, they're a really good team, probably better than you, but you can beat them. If you face Mizzou in the Sweet 16, no one's going to be happy with that loss. No.
Would you rather lose to
Wait a
Arkansas in the
minute.
first round or lose to Mizzou in the Sweet 16?
Oh my God.
I hate that question.
That's such a good question.
Thank you.
I'd rather-
That's a good question.
It's
Global
evil.
pandemic, no tournament. Then have to answer that question.
I'll take that right now before the game starts.
Boys,
You
I
got
gotta
one
head
vote
out.
for Arkansas.
I
What's your
appreciate
answer to
you.
the question, Mac? Mac,
I gotta
what's the
go.
answer?
What was it? What would I rather
Arkansas
do?
lose to Arkansas or Mizzou? Arkansas first round or Mizzou Sweet 16?
Sweet 16. I'd rather lose, I think, to Arkansas than Mizzou in the Sweet 16. However, that changes if it was like going to the Final Four or something, because I would be really happy with an Elite Eight for this team. Sweet 16, like, who cares about a Sweet 16? I'd rather not lose to Mizzou.
Bye,
I just
Mac.
don't care about. I don't care about Sweet 16s. Enjoy it, boys.
Bye.
Peace from the ocean.
Peace from the ocean.
I agree. I think the answer is I'd rather lose to Arkansas.
I can't do Mizzou. Well,
It's a weird answer, but I
go through
agree.
this. Let's go through this 2 scenarios. Okay, so you lose to Arkansas in the first round. What's the conversation? Let's just assume it's a competitive game, but you falter down the stretch. Arkansas wins. What's the conversation right after the game? What's the conversation for the offseason? It's just what we've already been having. It's just an extension of the conversation we've had for the last 3 months. This team never gelled. They never figured it out. The pieces didn't fit. They weren't tough enough. The guys, like, there was no synergy, no chemistry. It's all the same. But if you lose to Mizzou, that will fucking sting, because that's a new hurt. That is a new pain point that you have
it
created.
won't happen. We have rules.
Yeah, it won't
The rule
happen
is you
because
don't lose.
the Drake Bulldogs are going to take care of business, but this is pretty easy. It's graphic, but shot in the head or stabbed in the stomach. It's pretty easy.
Yeah,
Shot in the
shoot
head.
in the head.
Both
Put me
bad.
out of my misery. Put me out of my misery. I don't want to suffer.
If you lose to Mizzou, it's a FMOD situation. That's what we call fake my own death. It was nice knowing you guys. I'm not going away. I'm just physically going. I'm just,
I'm
leaving and
around.
hiding.
I'm around, but I'm not around.
Yeah, no.
I'm here, but you won't see me ever again.
Ever.
Just know that I'm okay.
Yeah, no. If I'm gone, it's for the best. This is like the other question, which is like, normally, would you rather get blown out or lose a close game in the first, we'll say for the first 2 rounds, and normally the answer is like get blown out, right? You just kind of like know that you lost to a better team. Considering everything that's happened with this year's KU team, I would prefer a close loss, because 1, you don't expect him to go that far, and 2, like, you want him to go. This team needs to go down swinging if they're going down, and like, I think I just would rather like hold the head up a little higher.
It's a beautiful
Is
conversation.
this too negative? Yeah.
No, because it's a beautiful conversation, because it's funny. Like Robert just commented, "Is this a KU? I thought this was a Kansas fan podcast." Listen, there are probably a lot of people listening and watching right now who are saying, "I can't believe you guys are even entertaining the possibility of a Sweet 16 or Elite 8 run for this team." Like, if we brought in a non-Kansas fan, if we brought in, college basketball expert A, he would come in and say, "I'm sorry, I know you guys are Kansas fans, but like, it's not happening. Have you been watching the team I've been watching all year?" But yet here we are trying to drum up the courage to predict a deep run for this team, because we're never going to give up. They're 7th seed. They're like 2 more losses away from being on the bubble. But we're mapping it out. We're mapping out how this team is going to go on a deep run. So we can be negative all we want. All the data points to the fact that we should be negative. But in our hearts, they still got Bill. They still got Hunt. And most importantly, they still got Norm. And that's what gives this team a fighting chance in March.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to look at it from all angles, but I mean, are you telling me that we're not courageous, that we're not brave, strong boys? Are you telling me that we don't have Florida and Kansas facing off? Are you telling me that?
You showed too much, because I saw you put Florida in the Final Four.
Yeah, of course. I'm not insane. They're winning. I did show too much. Damn it.
We show it all. We show it all.
Yeah, you show it all.
I like this.
Houston, 79-72.
I like this comment from Let's Go Cards. And I'm curious if y'all feel the same. He feels better about this team's chances in the tourney than last year's. I'm trying to remember last year a little bit more, because it's really
I'd love to take a stroll down memory lane with you.
I'll tell you, it's not worth it. No. Yeah, last year was bad. I feel better about this year too. Last year was dark. No McCullough.
McCullough really set things off.
Last year, KU was a 4 seed. They beat Samford in the first round.
Well, that I remember.
Had a small lead against Gonzaga at halftime in round 2, and then proceeded to get flogged in the second half. So I was feeling good 3 halves into the tournament last year. Before the tournament, none of us thought this team had a chance. They had 6 guys, and number 6 was Nick Timberlake.
More coaches than guys.
That is shameful. That is shameful. This year, at least, we got some guys. We got more coaches. We got more players. The cupboards are full. There is not an empty seat on that bus. And now it's just time for all 29 of those dudes in that locker room to put their heads together and figure out a way to make something special happen.
All right.
I feel significantly better about this year because of the draw. there's less pressure, right? You're 7 seed. In the last year, expectations were none. Like it was Purdue, and then Tennessee is who Purdue played in the Elite Eight. That's going to be tough, especially being shorthanded. This one is like there's a real path, right? There's a real logical path to at least get to that Sweet 16 and then get to the Elite Eight. Like even their Vegas odds are pretty damn reasonable.
What are they ranked in terms of championship odds?
Championship? I can tell you. I know that their Sweet 16 odds are like better than Mizzou. The best of any 7 seed by a pretty good chunk. Championship odds. I've got them up right now. They're 90-1. I don't have the ranking, but they're ahead of Texas A&M. That's a 4 seed. They're ahead of Purdue. That's a 4 seed. All right. So that's not bad. They're around UConn, BYU, Louisville, Clemson, Illinois. Not bad. Okay. Sweet 16, they're plus 210.
Are we doing a little sprinky dinky on 90-1?
Family Sprink?
Family Sprink.
Family Sprink.
What about like a... Yeah, I'm down. I mean, I don't live somewhere... TN, you're going to have to... Oh, no. They don't have DraftKings in Paris, do they, Nick?
They don't have DraftKings, but gambling is legal.
You're going to go to the French sports book and be like...
They're going to give you incredible odds.
Oui. You like blow the dust off the college basketball sheet.
It's just odds from 1996.
You're like, KU's got great odds here.
We're going to give you 5-1.
You can actually just negotiate it and say, like, I don't know, 90-1. Give me 120. They're like, sure, deal. Elite 8, they are. So 2-1 to Sweet 16 is pretty damn good. 5.5-1 to make the Elite 8. Better than, again, Louisville, A&M, Purdue, Clemson, UConn, VCU, Texas, Carolina. Much better than Arkansas. Arkansas is 10-1. So like double. Can we?
Yeah, I mean, you got by far the best possible 2 seed matchup.
Yep, that's what it comes down to.
It's not even close because, and I know you had mentioned this earlier, Mike. I think when we see the bracket released, you start finding the path to a deep run. But ultimately, like you said, it's like get out of the first weekend. It's a 4-team tournament, single elim. Win game 1, win game 2. We can worry about like who you would potentially face the second weekend when it happens. Because like we can talk about Mizzou all we want. The chances of KU and Mizzou, I don't know what the probability would be, but it would be low of like just having those 2 teams face after 2 games.
Let me think. It's probably like 4.8%.
Do you know that? Do you have it pulled up?
No, I just made that shit up. I have no idea.
Computer mind.
Oh, I'm just like a
Russell Crowe.
Freak genius.
He's just sitting there doing mathematic equations in his head. Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the social media story today?
I briefly read it, but what's your take?
My take is that I wish that was a postseason article.
Set the scene, though.
No distractions. Yeah, there was an article in the Kansas City Star about social media and the impact and negative impact it has had on KU basketball this year. Obviously, even though it's not said explicitly, I'm sure that was spurred by the Zeke Mayo tweet of the DMs he's gotten. The gist was that Dajuan has a folder of good and bad tweets on his phone. The team checks their phone. It said like in the bus after the game. They check that thing in the locker room right after the game. I would like to issue a correction. And Hunter, it sounds like, kind of laughs at it. and says like gambling props are a problem, player props. And Zeke said he didn't regret speaking out and that players should talk about this. Generally speaking, like I do think it's an important thing. It's a real thing. They're in a very online generation. I think it's frustrating to see, but it's not unrealistic. And most of all, like I'm glad that they're talking about it publicly, because if they weren't, like that's just even worse. And like we need a therapist like in the building. I think if this is going to be a thing, and KU said that they have mental health services like ready in like basically ready as needed or available. No, like that they're not going to go seek out or call the therapist doctor. I don't think if they're right there, and I would like to and hope that they could like normalize that amongst the team. We're talking sports therapists, these sports psychologists, these are real. Professional athletes use them all the time. They really do. It is like a part of professional sports now. So if it's a thing, like I that's a hope that I have for them. At the same time, like Jesus Christ, what good is keeping folders of tweets do? So I just feel I feel shitty. The whole thing's shitty. But I'm like, why?
The whole thing is shitty. I mean, Nick has been pounding this probably since last season. Team is too online. Well, also football. It wasn't just the
football
team,
very online.
But like, of course, this is happening on every team in the country, every high-profile team across the country. It's nice. I think in that article he said that several of these guys have gotten off social media or taken a hiatus or just not looking at DMs. Good. Long overdue. If you have a good chunk of the players doing that, then you're probably ahead of the rest of the high profile teams in the country, because they're all bookmarking, saving, screenshotting, motivation, praise, whatever, whether it's haters or supporters. So I don't know. Like you said, I kind of wish it was after the season, but wasn't that insane of a piece by any means.
No one said anything.
No,
unreasonable.
It was a good piece, but these guys are just so soft, bro. I mean, they just are. They just are.
Bill.
Because, like Bill said at the new season press conference, he said, if you're going to read the bad stuff, then you got to read the good stuff too. And I doubt that those guys are seeking out the good stuff. I feel very confident those guys are seeking out the good stuff the way they seek out the bad stuff. And I get it. It's just like, it's this incessant need to know what is being said about you. You are operating on a very public platform. You need to know what people are saying at your worst. And sure, you may do the same thing at your best. But like Kevin Durant, very online, also very good. He has found a way to either make it work for him, or what I think is more accurate, I don't think it affects his confidence. I don't think people calling out Kevin Durant on Twitter affects his confidence in games. You know why? Because he's just that dude. So it's like the ability to separate what is happening online with what happens on the court, that is the big difference here. Nobody is saying like, hey, I mean, people are saying, and we've said it, like, yeah, don't look at it. But it's with the caveat of like, don't look at it if you can't handle it. Yeah. If you can't handle that, like, hey, you're on a very public stage. You are being paid good sums of money to come here and perform. People have expectations for you. Those are the expectations. Like, that's it. These are the circumstances. Like Bill said, this is what you wanted. This is what you fought for. This is what your agent bargained for. And so now to sit there and be like, well, this is bad. Oh, if it weren't for gambling, like Travis Goff did the same thing. Like, oh, it's all a gambling thing. Are you guys really gonna like debate like what's the cause of this in the middle of the season while you guys are getting your ass kicked every game? I'll be honest with you.
There's a little recruiting.
the article pissed me off, and it's not
thought it
because he wrote it. Not because he wrote, like, Shreyas
No.
does a really good
Did
job
nothing
covering
wrong.
the team. It's
Good
not
idea.
at all. It's the response, and it's like, I understand you not liking what people are saying. Go do something about it. You have one way to do something about it. And sitting here and preaching about gambling and preaching about like what it does to your mental health, it rings a little hollow knowing you got paid a bag to come here and you wanted to come here because of the stage. Like, that is why you're here. You chose Kansas because of the stage, because of the opportunity, because of the platform, because of the expectations. And now that things aren't going your way, like, well, like this, I didn't sign up for this. You kind of did. This is life. This is life as an athlete on a big stage. So either deal with it or find a new line of work, because it ain't going to change.
It's true. Or deal with it. I mean, I think you nailed it in that they're willing to take the good part of the public life and have it for years and years and years. KU basketball players have it pretty fucking good on campus. You are treated very, very well, right? Beloved, have been for years. And like, so they're happy to take that. It's not deserved. It's shitty, but it is a reality. And I didn't see much solutioning around it until things popped off and there was a tweet. And like, who are the adults? There need to be some adults in the room handling this. That's a thought. And family, agent, manager, coaches, there's 9 of them, AD's office, but like, there's a culture issue here that they may not have picked up on, where like dudes are on their phone searching their name right after games. Again, it sucks. I get why it would happen, but to let it affect you that much is problematic. The first response to that story was someone saying, hey, that this is about Mike Vernon. He tears people down. And then he said 3 things that were just like false. Just by the way, that person deleted their account. I just saw. Sometimes you win, but Twitter is not that serious. I don't know.
Well, it's just like the idea of you can focus all your energy on the way the world should be versus the way the world is, right? Like, you got passed up for the big promotion at work. Well, I worked really hard. I'm more senior than the person who got it. I have more experience leading people. I've led this project, that project, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know why I got passed up. That's fine. All of those concerns and complaints might be valid. But at some point, like, you have to understand that, like, you preaching about the injustices that are being thrust upon you are not effective. And like, this is the way the world is.
Sat that well internally, by the way.
This is the way the world is. This is the way you want it to be. They're 2 different things.
Yeah, you got to protect yourself and like handle it. It sucks. It doesn't excuse it, but it is a reality, right? And you've got to do the best with it. And there's so much good that happens around them. There's a lot of great things. They're in college, most fun time possible. They are getting paid a ton of money. Kings of Lawrence, they live in a dorm that they call the mansion, or at least they used to. And like, beloved by 20,000 of their peers around them. Like, there is good there, and it just sucks that they can be, or that is chipped away at from nameless, anonymous people, and that they've let them do it. And like,
well,
yeah.
Have you guys seen Mad Men?
I don't think about you at all. Is that what you're going to do?
No. It's you never say thank you. And Don Draper goes, that's what the money's for.
That's so good.
People aren't nice to me. I never get any respect for what I'm doing here. That's what the money's for. You are getting paid to perform. Simple. This is a job, and a very public-facing one. But for that, you are being rewarded handsomely. More than 99% of athletes in this sport, like in college basketball, you come to Kansas, I don't even care if you're not the guy getting $750,000. You're still making more than most players on most teams. That is what the money is for.
Ever.
What do you think it's for? What do you think it's for? You think it's
Because you
just
like
hey,
me? It's a good graphic. Better graphic.
God.
I'll go back to it. I mean, you don't want to be Don Draper, though. He's probably not the best guy. Oh, Foggy Thoughts with some breaking news. Says the Jayhawks are about to get a 4-star running back. Shout out KU football. They have been killing it recruiting. Real 4 stars. No, I think you nailed it. I think you nailed it. It sucks. Got to do something. We need an adult in the room to handle this. Ideally, one of the 9 staffers and or one of the many agents, managers, handlers, whatever in people's lives, parents, family, someone has got to stop it. It went too far, and it had been going on for a while. All right. So it sucks. At the same time, do we care about a bunch of like 30 college kids who are on burner accounts that tweet things that are like, KJ Adams doesn't deserve to play in a KU uniform? It's like, yeah, they do. Yeah. I mean, like KJ Adams busts his ass.
I didn't hear KJ wasn't quoted in that story, was he?
I don't know.
I haven't heard him bring up one thing about nobody's got shit on more than him. I haven't heard him bring it up once.
That's a good point.
He almost seems, just total conjecture, but like, I mean, he seems like one that would not get too lost in it. Nobody brushes it off better than Diggy, according to that article. He's like, yeah, there's good stuff, there's bad stuff. He's still trying to figure out altitude.
Diggy's getting just love. There's no bad stuff coming to. Come on. I mean, I'm sure there was when he was like out for 16, but mostly it's like, fuck yeah, Diggy. Like,
yeah.
Even Hunter's like, yeah, I see it, but I just like kind of, he talks trash back like a little bit more, which is more the Durant style. I don't think it has affected him. But I think he's like, Jesus Christ. That's kind of what it sounded like in the article. It's like, it's nuts, but I don't know. Like you were affected when Colorado fans were coming down your throat. You also don't get money for this, Nick. And they were trying to.
I wasn't telling anybody to stop.
That's true.
You should
I
have.
was just like, whoa. This is a lot.
Every single tweet at you should have just replied, stop it. Stop.
Please stop. Please stop. Okay. Should we wrap this up with final tourney predictions?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
We already know. Kevin showed it. Kevin gave us a little nip slip.
Yeah,
So I already know.
I'll show you my full breast here. It is, they advanced. They beat St. John's. They beat Texas Tech. They just can't get past Florida. Florida's too good. They're national runner-up.
No way, the golden one. The golden one.
But the Elite Eight game is very productive when they're not playing the game. We get to spend some time with Todd.
Yeah, I need the biggest KU crowd of all time.
Dude, it's just like my favorite possible road would be Norm Revenge versus Arc, Norm Revenge versus St. John's, Mizzou, and then beating the guy who KU Twitter and Mike's Discord wants to be the next Kansas head coach, Todd Golden, to go to the Final Four. I mean, that is a storybook path, not to mention making a Final Four as a 7 seed.
What if KU, Turner Gill was the coach and they beat Northern Illinois when Dave Doran was there, and then Turner Gill got fired, and KU wouldn't I think really take Doran seriously because he lost to Turner Gill, and he's turned out to be a really good coach. He wanted the KU job. What if they're like, nope, you lost to KJ and Juan, so you're disqualified. Some big donors like, nope, you're out. I don't think that's the case. by the way.
What if the bracket just breaks in a crazy way? You know,
Could
and it's
happen.
Colorado State. It's Colorado State to go to the Final Four.
Oh
It's
my God.
Maryland, the Crab Five.
Maryland can ball.
Yeah. Former Jayhawk Derek Queen, kind of almost.
I mean, like,
Anybody who put Kansas in a graphic like these are my final schools, and it's like 12 schools, they're former Jayhawk.
That means there's like 155 guys in this tournament that are former Jayhawks, probably.
A lot of revenge opportunity.
Cooper Flag, former Jayhawk.
Yeah. Former
Yeah.
Jayhawk.
We will wear white in the Elite Eight. Who's your Final Four? Can we get a full Final Four, Kev? So you got KU losing the Elite Eight. I need a Final Four.
It's gonna be chalky this year.
Just
Auburn, Florida,
no
Houston, Bama. Because Duke loses to Baylor.
Okay, Mike.
I just haven't. I think the St. John's game is very, very winnable. Like truly winnable. It'll probably be a pretty short spread. But KU has not done it back to back when they needed to this year. So I'm going to say they lose a physical, tough game to St. John's in the second round. I think it's really close. Like I could easily see them winning that game. Pressures will be on the Johnnies, but I'm gonna say Zuby gets his revenge. Final Four. Give me Duke and Houston. So there's 2 1 seeds. No, fuck me. I'm doing this
Take your time.
live. Doing it live. All right, give me Sparty. And then I don't know. Fuck it. I'll take Maryland.
Yeah, I kind of like that. Because when I'm filling out my bracket and like Florida is the hottest team in the country and everybody just saw them butt fuck the entire SEC tournament. So everyone's on Florida. Like they're the team, which just makes me think they're gonna drop a stupid game.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the way.
We need that. We cannot. If Todd Golden wins a national title there,
we can't have that.
We got to stop it. He's not going to be KU's coach ever. He's like, I have it pretty good. I live in Florida. That's where Mech vacations. That's what he's going to say.
Well, I would also say, I don't think Mech's in the same part of Florida that Todd Golden's in.
Gainesville.
You can get there quickly.
I think Arizona could be tricky for Duke, by the way. Depends on Caleb Love, but like they're athletic enough, can go up and down. They've got some size. That's one that could be.
They played earlier this year, didn't they?
I refuse to acknowledge whatever the result was.
Who cares?
I could be wrong.
That's my
could be wrong.
They were bad early.
Who cares? Give me. I'm gonna go Auburn, Alabama, Houston, and this West region is just trash. And I don't want to pick Florida, even though everything tells me Florida's going. No, you know what? Florida might just fuck up somewhere along the way. So, it might not. So give me Florida. Counterpoint, Florida. I'm going to go Houston winning the national championship.
I'm taking Houston too. I want it for Kelvin. A lot of former Jayhawks on that team, like LJ Cryer.
Is Juwan Roberts playing? Do we even know?
That's a senior leader right there.
Abused us.
Is Kelvin Sampson,
ruined my trip.
Is Kelvin Sampson a former Jayhawk? Was he ever like a GA at KU at some point?
Nobody. He gave Paul Pierce a nice pat on the butt. I think him and Bill are really tight.
Friend of the program.
Yeah, Oklahoma connection. If you've spent time in Oklahoma, that's where Bill Self's from. You're a former Jayhawk.
Kelvin Sampson, former Jayhawk, leads the Cougars to the title.
There's your headline.
Can you wait? Where did you have KU losing, Nick?
I have KU losing to Texas Tech in the Sweet 16.
Oh, that'd be really bad for my family, Nick. No.
Kevin's got a bunch of Texas. He's got a Texas Tech sibling, and there's like an obnoxious Texas Tech little brother.
I have 2.
Will you
Yeah.
predict either the end of season national championship headline, or we can end it with the headline? We started it with one headline to end KU season. So if you have them losing to Tech, Kev, you go too. Yeah, I see you going.
It's
Do
the
it.
Pete Weber. It's the Pete Weber. Hate me or love me. You watched. Scene.
That's pretty good. I prefer longer headlines.
I know. That's too short.
No,
Not
it's
enough
the
ink.
Pete Weber, comma.
Okay, I got it. Self-inflicted wounds, Sleepy Bill hits the snooze button on another Final Four run. As the as the Hawks drop double OT thriller to Texas Tech. I could have ended it better, but that was just stream of consciousness. Kevin sent me the best. Kevin sent me the best headline one time. I think it was Connecticut's second round NCAA tournament. We're up in Des Moines. And did we beat the shit out of them? Or was it? I don't.
I think we did beat the shit out of it. We beat the shit out of Connecticut. That sounds right. I think that happened.
Or
Didn't we?
Some team, and he just talked
Like
about
big name second round.
Right, he just talked about like Huskies get throat fucked in corn country. NC 17.
Sounds right. Sounds like something I'd put on a phone.
Who's getting through it?
I'm sorry.
Dad, how was the
I'm sorry, but that was a decade ago. So statute of limitations, we're good.
I've changed.
Yeah.
And you haven't noticed that, but I have.
Come on, man, do the throat fuck thing.
All right. TBD emergency episode following massive dub.
Yeah,
night.
for sure. Yes.
It'll be like 4 a.m. for me, but worth it. It's tournament time. We sleep in April.
Oh, you're gonna have the best rants. You're gonna have some wild ass rants. We sleep in April.
I'm just dreaming with my eyes open. All right. Subscribe, rate, review. Subscribe, rate, and review. Smash. Just absolutely pulverize that subscribe button and tell your friends, tell your enemies. For Kevin, for Mike, for Mac, Florida Mac, I'm Nick. This is Could Be Wrong.
Unplug their phones, Lance. Take their fucking phones. All right.